the way there, George worked on castle plans. He wanted it to be perfect.
George, we're here. Ah, smell that salty air. George?
George hadn't planned on having so much room to build a castle. With this kind of space, he could really think big.
George, wait up! Let me know when you find a good idea for a castle.
He wouldn't build just any old ordinary little sand castle.
George said he built his sand castle around here somewhere. No! Wow! Could this be George's sand castle? Hello? Anyone home? George? It's me! George, it's the greatest sand castle any monkey ever made, ever, anywhere!
Now he knew exactly what his castle should look like, and that he wanted it to be a surprise.
Oh, you want to build a castle like that one? Oh, you want to build a castle here, and me to build one down there? Then we surprise each other. That the idea? Okay, that sounds fun.
But he couldn't find them. He was positive he'd built them this far from the water. Who would take a guy's sand bunnies?
Did you lose something? Hey, where are your pail and your castle book?
George knew he'd left those on the rock. But the rock had moved.
That rock used to be out of the water, didn't it? You know what happened, George? The tide came in. You see? This rock didn't move. When the tide's in, the waves reach higher up the beach. See?
So they all pulled together.
All right, once you get good, wet packing sand, carry it away from the water so the waves can't wipe out your work.
You city kids sure are handy with your feet.
That's a pretty good job, boys.
And Ma Rabbit won't burrow through it because she has her own doorway.
Well, time to pack up. George, put anything wet or sandy in the trunk for the trip home. George? George, this practice is for band members only. That's the rule.
A 5, 6, 7, and 8.
George needed to find something to put all of his keys on so they could jingle in the right way.
Lunch is almost ready, George. Have you seen the hall closet key anywhere? I know I have a box of old keys that I don't use anymore. You can play with them.
George realized there were musical sounds everywhere.
Do you want to make instruments with the recycling, too?
George wasn't sure what instruments he was making, but he knew what he liked. He'd brought his instruments and his musicians together. It was music time. George learned his first lesson as a band leader. Musicians love free food. It didn't sound good yet, but they were just warming up. George never realized how difficult it was to get musicians to concentrate on their work.
Hello, fire department?
Guy said it sounded like a garbage truck full of cats and dogs from outer space landed on the roof.
Hey, Andy, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
And he sure got a lot of wiggle power. Look at all those segments. Worms' bodies are divided into little sections called segments, which are like muscles that help them to burrow in the soil. So what are you gonna do with your new worm, George? You want to race Fast Freddy? The proper way to have a challenge race is on neutral territory, not in any racer's home yard. On your mark, get set, go Worms! Dig, Freddy, dig!
Did I hear worm race?
Worm race!
Go, Freddy! Dig, dig, dig!
Go! What's George's worm's name? Oh, okay.
Go, Freddy, go! Here comes Fast Freddy! And the winner is... Wow, city slang! The winner is George's worm by a segment!
George had the perfect place to keep his pet worms.
That could work. Except worms need to dig, and I don't think they can dig through your sheets, George. Garden soil. Excellent choice. Coffee grounds will make the soil rich and airy.
Hey, George! Big worm race at Lake Wanna-Sink Lake. Bring your racer.
Bet you can't beat Mr. Wiggly.
Worm fever had spread throughout the countryside.
They make my soil better, and that makes better veggies in my garden.
Since all you cheering worm racers scare the fish at the lake, I'm going fishing in the river.
Don't forget your lunch, dear.
Yeah.
Come on, guys! It's time for the championship race!
Worm race! Worm race! Worm race! Worm race!
We're ready when you are, George. Oh, no! Mr. Quinn took your worms instead of his lunch.
Catfish. Well, hey, is that my lunchbox? Oh, then this must be your worm farm. Good timing, I must say.
Dig, Mr. Wiggly, dig!
And the new worm racing champ is... you know, George's worm!
With the championship won, George felt his worms deserved to retire to the garden and help the roses grow.
Worm racing isn't the only sport in town. You'll find a new hobby.
Hey, George! Ready for the frog hopping race?
George didn't know there was an even bigger bin for recycling.
If he could find enough recycling to fill it, the doorman would win the contest for sure. The next morning, George went hunting for more recycling.
I think we're in good shape to win this contest, Hunley.
I think that would be wonderful.
You do?
The more buildings where tenants recycle, the better. And maybe you could start some reuse programs like we have. Want to see?
Sure.
We reuse everything we can think of. Shopping bags, magazines. We never throw out packing peanuts.
It's so organized.
Anything to make the planet a little neater. You really have collected a lot.
Have I? I have.
Nobody got their newspapers this morning. Weird.
There you are. We have a food thief in the building. I got a grocery delivery and someone took half of it.
What?
Someone took my paint pails. How can I mix paint with no pails?
Where are the Wiki Pizza coupons? They're always on the front table.
Huh?
My shampoo!
My pails! I need my pails!
I don't understand. What?
Pizza coupons.
Oh, boy. George?
Those things are unused. Did you take them just to win the recycling contest?
No, I don't understand. I don't know how they got here.
Recycling is about saving the planet, not winning a shiny trophy.
Oh, of course. I don't know how these extra papers and containers got here.
How can I mix
have a
paint with
food
no
thief in the
pails?
They're
building.
always on the front table.
I think I know where the extra recycling came from. George, you recycle things after you use them.
People need to read their papers and eat their food first.
Then they go in the recycling bin.
Why, thank you, George.
Since some of our recycling was, unfairly obtained, I think the best thing is for us to share.
Oh, that is so sweet. After you're done, you can come and polish my trophy.
We may have tied this year, but next year will be another story.
Oh, yes. Our building will win outright.
Oh, really?
Yes, we've already ordered larger bins for every floor.
Really? That's not recycling, George.
Breakfast was George's favorite meal of the day. along with lunch and dinner.
George, could you pass the pepper, please?
Uh-oh. Pepper always made George.
That's some mess you made. I'll go get the sponge. Ooh, except I'm late for a meeting. I have to go. Can you clean up, George? Thanks. And make sure to vacuum up all the crumbs. I saw an ant in here a few days ago. No, George, that's a bad thing.
George had made quite a mess, even for a monkey. That was close. George almost stepped on an ant. Wait, an ant? The man with the yellow hat was right. There was an ant in the apartment. There were 2 ants in the apartment. Actually, there were a lot of ants in the apartment. An ant? That's not tidy. George was up to something. Hundley decided he'd better check. Was that where the ants were coming from? If George could carefully block the crack, the problem was solved. George was a genius. Except now he'd have to stay here forever. George had done it. No more ants. Where were these coming from? It took a lot of napkins and other stuff, but George and Hundley plugged every crack. Now they just had to get all the ants that were already in out. George decided the ant might feel safer out on the balcony. Maybe that's what George should do. Carry all the ants outside. George showed Hundley his discovery. Ants follow food. Maybe they'd follow it right out the door. So that was the solution. Put the food outside, and the ants would leave. And of course, they come back with their food. George had another idea. Maybe he could get the ants inside the trash can by filling it with food. It was working. The ants crawled into the can as fast as their legs would carry them. Where would they put them? They couldn't put the ants on the sidewalk. They'd get squished. And they'd get even more squished on the street. The park. The ants would love it there. George and Hundley set the ants free in a nice empty area of the park where no one would step on them. It had been quite a morning, but the ants were gone and everything was okay.
George, I can't believe this apartment.
George had forgotten to clean up his mess.
Good job, George. Not only did you clean the apartment, you also took out the trash.
He did? Oh, yeah, he did.
Of course, you also shoved napkins and handkerchiefs into the wall and covered it with bandages. But I'm not even gonna ask. You just sit down and take it easy. I'll go make us some lunch.
George could finally relax. The apartment was clean, and he'd never have to worry about ants again.
George, what are you doing? Are you looking for syrup? Well, first you'll have to tap the tree. No, not tap like knocking. I mean a tap like a spigot. You know, I've got an extra bucket if you'd like to make your own syrup. First, you have to find a maple tree. Now, a maple tree has gray bark and deep ridges that run up and down like this. And they have 5-pointed leaves like this.
Oh. Yeah, look. The bottle tells you what kind of leaves to look for.
Then you drill a small hole angled up for best sap flow, then hammer in the spigot. No, it doesn't hurt the tree, George. Right now, it's like the trees are sleeping. They don't need their sap until spring when the weather gets warmer and they put out leaves. Got it? Now, hold on. You'll need these, too. I'll get another set from the barn.
Here you go, George. We did it! Hey, George?
It took a while, but George's bucket was finally full.
Ooh. Whoops, wait! I'll help you. We need a bucket lifting machine or an elevator.
Or a cow. George figured with Leslie's help, he could lift the bucket off the tap.
Ready? 1, 2. Oops.
It wasn't a whole bucket of syrup, but it would still cover a lot of pancakes.
Okay. Pancakes? For me?
Yep, and syrup. And we made it. Well, the tree made it, but we tapped the tree all by ourselves.
Wow. Very moist.
That doesn't taste like syrup at all. Grandpa's trees must be broken.
No. The trees aren't broken, George. Maple syrup trees give sap, not syrup.
Sap?
Sap becomes syrup after it's boiled down. Luckily, you've come to the right place. We boil it right here at the sugar shack.
Oh, yeah!
Now, this will take a while, and if we leave it too long, it can boil over, burn, and be ruined. So we have to keep an eye on it.
It took forever.
Looks like it's ready. What do you say to that? Leslie, how did you get out?
Oops. I think she wants syrup. Cows like syrup a lot. George, the syrup! It's going to boil over.
No matter how hard he blew, George couldn't cool the syrup down.
Leslie.
Maybe if they fanned it.
I thought you didn't know anything about making syrup. Well, you knew butter stopped syrup from boiling over. Well, here you are, your own bottle of syrup. It takes a whole lot of sap to make a little bit of syrup.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, George. Best syrup ever.
Luckily, a little bit of syrup has a whole lot of taste.
The N Avenue Animal Shelter scavenger hunt is about to begin.
Boys, I tell you, Team Piscetti is going to do very, very well today. Maybe we won't win, but we're gonna raise a lot of money for a good cause.
Who says we won't win?
Well, we're pretty good, but we're never going to beat my cousin.
You have a cousin, Chef Piscetti?
I thought I knew all about making the mud pies. Until I saw Cousin Nilguinis.
You're each being handed a list of shapes. Some are easy, some are hard and worth more points. Whoever has the most points at the end wins the golden rectangle. You have 1 hour. Ready? On your mark. Get set. Hunt!
4 white rectangles. It's worth 4 points, but you have to have all 4.
Well, hi, George.
Four black circles.
5 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Octagon.
8 more points. Good work, Giorgio. Eggs! They're perfectly egg-shaped.
12 points for a blue ring.
Let's go. Hey, Giorgio, what is that? The balloon head? Kind of nice.
Oh, Giorgio, did you see that? How clever you are. A blue ring.
I bet we win.
Yes. We have a total of 48.
48 points and 21 minutes left. What's next?
Only hard ones. 8 things that add up to 1.
Huh?
What else?
100 diamonds.
Ooh.
They're worth 100 points. But you have to have all 100.
Diamonds? George remembered a diamond.
That's diamond-shaped, all right.
Only 99 left to go.
You rescued it! Thank you so much!
Nice breeze. Our octagon. Oh, I got him. No. Whoa. Oh, no. All gone. Maybe we're not as clever as I thought.
George wished he could cheer up Chef Biscotti. Then he remembered the one thing that always cheered him up.
Just in time.
Ooh. You really like my pizza, eh? Cheers you up?
Uh-huh. We're here!
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a score. As you know, the sponsors of the hunt base their donation on the number of points the teams accrue. This year, I'm proud to say the shelter will have the biggest donation ever, thanks to the winning team, Team Piscetti. The animals of the N Avenue shelter, thank you.
Oh, I'm so happy.
George was glad he'd helped the chef with the contest. But win or lose, the chef was always a champion to George.